what is something that's funny and relates to drugs and cocaine and
My life.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Cocaine!
The pop culture master race.
Does mother know you wear it for grace?
All your pop culture needs. And here are your hosts, Aiden Munga and Brett Page.
Hello and welcome to the PCMR podcast where we talk about movies, TV shows, comic
I
books.
swear you always scare the fuck out of me with that hello.
It's my goal every week. That's all I'm trying to do is scare you back to life, Brett. We are Brett and Aiden. I am Aiden. The other one is Brett.
Hello.
We will be talking to you this week about the Netflix TV show Narcos in its second season. All about who killed Pablo Escobar.
Yes.
Who did it?
I did.
Or was that what it was about?
I don't know. That's what the trailers said, but
That's what the trailers said it was about. We'll talk about if that's what it was about.
Well, apparently they would have said that because I was reading the Wikipedia article like you do, and apparently it's to this day debated who actually killed him, who did the last shot. Because it didn't happen like it did in the shows. Spoilers, but it's not spoilers because it's history. But you know, so it's highly debated who actually did it, and some people who were friends with him said, "Nah, the police didn't kill him. He killed himself." Which, because they're debating.
They didn't seem to be there, so.
Well, they're saying because the bullet was found apparently like right between his eyes, and apparently he always said if he was cornered by the cops and couldn't get out, he'd put a bullet between his eyes. That's what they were saying, apparently. So
I don't know.
I don't know. Just look at these Wikipedia articles. Is where I got all this stuff.
I'm just gonna go and say, hey, the TV show got it right. It seemed to match up with that.
Picture.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this show. We're not gonna say who exactly did it. Let's talk about that later. Spoilers.
Yeah.
It's history. If you're a fan of history, maybe you already know. If you're not and you're just kind of dumb like us going like, the TV show will tell me, come along for the ride.
Yeah, well, it does have that little disclaimer at the start that events have been dramatized for, entertainment purposes.
They do have that. There are things that I'm like, okay, that's false and that's false. But other things I'm like, I guess so.
Yeah, you can tell some of the things in it are fake.
Or
And
things have been like squished together because it's like, hey,
Yeah.
we've only got like 10 episodes to squish a year of events into. They happened at the same time. What a coincidence.
Yeah, and it's just like a lot of the conversations between like Pablo and his family and whatever. It's just like, how can you know that they were talking about this? How can you know?
Yeah, that's obviously been like, well, heighten the drama there. But
Yeah.
hey, that's fine. It's a TV show. It made the TV show better. I don't care. I'm honestly not entirely here for the history. I'm mainly here because I actually really like the show. So let's get into it. So this is season 2. Last season, Pablo escaped El Catadel, and now the police, the DEA, the CIA, the Cali cartel, and a newly formed Los Pepes are all after Pablo, trying to get him. And now that Pablo is cornered, he's actually at his most dangerous. And
Apparently.
he did some gory shit.
Oh, he did.
His last year. It was he got some stuff done. A lot of people died trying to catch Pablo Escobar. This show is like, I was watching it and I had to like start figuring like, wow, Netflix isn't just like some random internet thing. Like, this is a proper TV channel. Like, this is a well-funded show. Like, all these shots, all of these like action set pieces that they have, these are huge, well-crafted set pieces.
Yeah, and they get that money by just people paying $15 a month. That's still crazy to me that they've got enough people subscribed that they can make so much original series with that much funding on them.
It's way better than anything that's going on Australian television. Like this internet television channel, which to some people isn't even really a television channel, is making better, well-funded, better shot, better acted, better scripted TV than almost anything Australia is doing.
Well, honestly, I think Well, I know TV is dying. So many people are, as they say in America, cutting the cable.
Mm.
So it's just, I reckon maybe 20 years from now, there will be no such thing as actual television. It all will have moved to online. So televisions will just be things that you use for like your Netflix
I
or
feel
your
like
CBS
they will,
online, or all that shit.
they'll evolve. Like, I don't think TV is going away completely. People still need like news, and live sport is still doing really well, at least on Australian television. Like anything that's like live and like, oh, you have to watch it or you'll be spoiled kind of thing. That's working really well still.
I guess that's why we get raped
television.
with reality TV.
There's
Yes,
so
I
much
use the
reality
And
television.
yes, I use the term raped because that's what it is.
It's I don't consent to this much reality television.
Yes.
I do not at all.
I am drunk. I
Uh,
cannot consent right now, TV.
I know this is getting a little bit off topic, but I was thinking
It's
about
not
this.
off topic. It's a
No, it's leading me into something I was really thinking about during the week as I was watching Narcos. Is one of the reasons that I really dislike reality television, especially like competition shows like The Bachelor or Survivor, is where something like Narcos, you can show like a villain and be like really like get into like the depths of like why this character is evil and bad, but also show them their humanity and stuff, and you can show nuance with a person with scripted and fictionalized television but that's not something you can do with reality television, like especially like whenever they're like, oh, they'll have like an advertisement, because I don't really watch the shows, but they have like an advertisement like Sarah is a bitch, and it's just like that's an actual person. That's a different thing. Like when you're doing a TV show, that's fine. That's a fictional character. People can separate it in their mind like, wow, that person portrayed that character really well. But when you do that to a person who's just appearing on a reality television show, you're making Australia hate this person who, might not even be that bad a person, but because of the editing and because like the producers are like, well, we need a villain on this show. Sarah was having a grumpy day like 2 days ago. Let's edit that to make it look like she's a cunt. It's just, I really dislike that practice, and I feel like that's kind of evil.
Yeah, see, it's always in the editing. Like, I remember last season on My Kitchen Rules, I watched a couple of episodes of it. It's when I moved into my current apartment and we didn't have fucking internet.
That's
so
fair.
I'll just like kill myself in real television. And my family's into it as well, so.
We all got to suffer at some point.
There was this one couple, and like they were always painted to be like evil. They are the worst people. Everyone hates them. But like I read an article just like they were saying like we're not that bad at people. It's the editing, the decisions they chose of what to include of what we said just made us seem worse than we are. And we've literally gotten texts and emails from people we know in real life saying, what the hell, I did not know you were such terrible people. I don't want anything to do with you anymore, just because of what this TV show is portraying.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's awful. You're ruining someone's actual life.
Yeah,
and actually, like, presenting them as like, oh, you're this big, bad, terrible person. And of course, you'll talk to like a producer about that, and they'll be like, no, people can tell it's fake. Like, people are dumb. People don't know it's fake. You present it to it as reality. They see, oh, these are real people. That's their actual names. Those are things they actually said. They must be terrible people, instead of this disconnect of like, oh, it's been edited to make it look like they're terrible people.
And so many times they put words in people's mouths, because all those reality shows have those cutaway things they do where they like the people in a room just like narrating the events they already participated in.
Yeah, they'll ask them a bunch of leading questions like, oh,
yeah,
so
they'll ask them
that's
leading questions.
Like, and I was like,
yeah,
I guess so. Could you say that it's like a full sentence for the camera? Yeah, I guess Sarah was being kind of bad. And like, she said Sarah was being kind of bad.
Exactly. That's what they do. They give leading questions and they show you saying the answers to your question they led you to. Like, they literally put words in your mouth.
It's irresponsible. And that's why I just don't care for that kind of practice, which is why something like Narcos, leading it all back into it, is so good, I feel, in that this is a show where it's a scripted character, like it's based on a real person, but you're watching it like, okay, this is a scripted event, and you can show these nuances to a horrible person.
Yeah, like,
and I feel like they have more chance to like show quiet moments. Like there were so many times when like I need to look up the name of the actor who plays Pablo, because I feel like he was way better this season than he was in season 1. Like I liked him in season 1, but this season I felt like he really came into his own in portraying the character, and it's like it's kind of sad that he's not going to be there for the next 2 seasons.
His name is.
And I'm a bit
His name is.
concerned about how the next 2 seasons are going to go. Like, I'm interested to learn more about the Cali cartel and the rest of like how the drug trade moved on from Pablo Escobar. But it's like he was such like this enigmatic figure that I'm not sure if the show can like find other people to focus on and be like, okay, these are the new people you can ground all your focus around.
Yeah, he was really like he encapsulated the series. He was always the best actor, and it's what we were watching. And his name is Wagner Moura. Moura? Moura.
Wagner Moura, yeah, that's
Like Moura.
yeah. He's really good this season. I want to see him in more stuff. Like he's great.
Yeah. So the sad thing is, there's a good chance we won't see a lot of these actors in any like Hollywood type stuff. They're all like, Mexican, Spanish, Colombian, wherever they're all from actors.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I feel like I'm really grateful to like, Netflix and like doing a show like this where you can have Spanish speaking actors in like, which is pretty much like a big global American television series. And it's so great that we get to see these actors that otherwise we wouldn't see ever, and it's
honestly a Spanish show disguised as an American show.
Yeah, it really like most of the time people are just speaking Spanish. Like
I'd say 75% of the dialogue in this show is Spanish.
It's like every now and then fucking
the Americans come into it because we need fucking English.
Steve Murphy will do a little voiceover thing like, and the thing we know about pop. I'm like, oh shit, English. Okay.
But he's pretty great though.
Spoke English on this show. He's good.
Boyd Holbrook, that's the actor's name. Yeah. He did a great job as Steve Murphy, especially this season. More this season, I'd say. I really liked the narrations he did in this season.
Yeah, I feel like the 3 main actors we have of Wagner, Pedro, and Boyd Holbrook, I feel he's still probably the weakest link because like his character is interesting, and I'm kind of interested to see where he goes. But it's
at the same time
he's got this kind of aloofness to him, where it's kind of like, it's a job, clock in 9 to 5 kind of attitude.
Sometimes his character was kind of just there as well. Like I feel like Pedro Pascal's character was a lot more involved.
He was carrying that dynamic a lot more, just because he has a lot more interesting things to do, just by virtue of him like teaming up with Los Pepes. And all that stuff going on with him. I feel like I was way more interested to be following like, oh, what's Pedro Pascal gonna do next? Like this is great.
Yeah, it's like go Oberyn. To me, he's still Oberyn Martell.
Yeah, there's a little bit of part of me that's like,
See, all those Game of Thrones actors, no matter what they do, there's always going to be a little bit of Game of Thrones in them still.
No, but he was really good, and I actually really, really enjoyed him this season. I think outside of Pablo, he was probably my favorite recurring character.
And I think he had a lot of weight on him as well, because he was like the one character who really had an equal amount of English acting and Spanish acting to do.
Yeah, there was a lot of...
and I imagine going between languages while you're acting would be difficult, even if you're as fluent as he is,
Yeah, it is like a very kind of difficult thing to ask someone. It's like, oh, you got to be speaking all these different languages, you got to be in all these different scenes, you're going to be... Pretty much outside of Pablo, one of the main focuses of the show. But hey, he did well. He carried himself. Yeah,
he's a great actor.
Gravitas, I think is the word I was looking for there. So let's talk about some of the people we focused on a little bit more this season. Some of the new characters. What did you think of the Castaños brothers, Los Pepes?
What did I think of them? I thought we could have had a bit more of their backstory, I guess. We kind of had that one thing like, oh, they're killing freaking...
Crazy people from the jungle. Ooh,
yeah, they're killing commies in the jungle. That's all we kind of knew about them. And we knew that they were doing it because the communists killed their father, I think they said, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I don't know, they were good characters. They did what they were meant to do, but... I would like to see them explored a bit more, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I would have liked to have known a little bit more about them, and it seemed kind of wishy-washy on why they were there. Like at first, it was like, "Oh, we're here to
Oh,
kill drug dealers and stuff," but then there are events that happen near the end, and it's like, are you? I'm not entirely sure.
yeah. It's like, are they paying you?
Mm.
Do you think Pablo's a communist? What?
Yeah, it was very kind of like gray area, and
And
I
like,
think they
surely Pablo's not a communist because
I think the reason
vast wealth.
Yeah, I understood why they were after him at first because like he had teamed up with M19 to do that government raid, and they were a communist organization.
Yeah.
So I got that connection. It was just later events where I was like, I'm not entirely sure of your motivation here, but hey, maybe they'll clear that up in later seasons because I think
maybe
Los
they just
Pepes
didn't
is
know.
done, but I think the Castaños are still going to be around for season 3.
Yeah, because
So-
they inherited all that fucking cocaine. Like, let's start selling cocaine.
Who knows what's going to happen there? Yeah. Do you want to just put like a spoiler tag now and say like we're going to be just talking spoilers for the show?
This show is a little hard to talk about without spoilers.
Yeah.
Not only because it's history, but just because once you're 10 minutes into episode 1, it can count as spoilers, you know?
Pretty much, yeah. It is very, like, it's such a dense show and there's so much going on and so many, like, twists and turns every episode. It's like, yeah, past the 10 minutes, like, we're getting into spoilers about what's going on here. So it's like, kind of just like, hey, so let's do a little thing here. If you watch season 1, watch season 2. There you go.
If you haven't watched season 1, definitely don't watch season 2. You'll be insanely confused.
Oh, you'd be very lost. So, but if any of what we've said sounds interesting to you, then go watch season 1, catch up to season 2, and come back and listen to this podcast. We'll wait. We'll give you a little second.
Yeah.
You back? Okay. How about it, right? Pretty crazy, eh? I really liked how this season there was not so much a focus, but a kind of more of a spicing, I guess, of like the American government being real shitty. Because I feel like last season was kind of like, yeah, the DA, and we're here to stop the drug dealers. And,
Yeah, last season was very about extradition. Like, there was the fight against extradition.
Yeah, but this season was more like it was the DEA kind of fighting against the CIA, and it was like infighting amongst.
Yeah, it really
the government
showed like
people.
that inner
Yeah.
struggle in the government between the different government agencies.
And even on the Colombian side of the government, where like the president was constantly fighting with the attorney general, and it was just like two like different sides of the government. Like, well, and I really did appreciate them talking about like, oh, well, the this is different than it is in America and other places. This is how it works in Colombia, and it was like, oh, well, that's fascinating. I appreciate little like differences between governments across countries and them talking about like, oh, well, they'll do the things this way here and they'll do things this way here. And it's different. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Would
Fun
you-
facts.
Fun
I love
facts.
fun facts.
Would you ever go to Colombia?
Would I ever go to Colombia? No. Like I appreciate the scenery and it looks like parts of the culture are interesting, but it just from this show seems too fucking crazy for me.
Yeah. I'll say I don't think it's like that as much anymore because
Yeah.
if you look it up, the Cali cartel, they got completely done only about 2 years later than Pablo did. So
Oh yeah,
And
but
all-
it's the Mexicans now.
Yeah, it's
that
the
where the
Mexicans
crazy
now.
cartel shit is going. Like, did you
Yeah.
watch? Or was that thing? I think after season 1 aired, where they were talking about like, yeah, the Mexican cartels are crazier than anything the Colombians were doing.
oh yeah, and like if you watch Sicario, shit.
Or Cartel Land. Have you watched that?
No, I haven't.
I think it's on Netflix now, so definitely check that out. It's a documentary, but it plays out with like this cool kind of like Shakespearean rise and fall kind of story about this guy who's fighting the cartel, and it's actually super fascinating and plays out like it is like a dramatized story, but it's all true.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Might have to check this out.
Definitely worth checking out. I'd highly recommend that.
Yeah, drug cartels are fucking terrifying.
I would have liked to have seen more of the CIA guy, like the weird, like sketchy, bald dude with a beard.
Yeah, he seemed like he could have been a really interesting character because he seemed really like conniving. Like he was playing friend to everybody, but he was also scheming behind their backs, you know?
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen more of him. Maybe we'll get more of him in season 3 because it seems like Agent Pena will be working more with the CIA to try and take down the Cali cartel.
Yeah, getting him back in the game, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I was so worried that, like, man, are you telling me that Pedro Pascal's not going to be in season 3? Are we losing both of our interesting characters, and we're just going to be left to Boyd Holbrook, who's fine, but
Yeah, he's good. I enjoyed his acting, as I said before, but I don't think he can carry the show.
no, he's good as, like, them as a double act. I think are really enjoyable. I
Yeah,
like
they're
watching
good
those
together.
two work together. But
Yeah.
we need more than just him.
See,
And I did like that this season there was a lot more, like, there were a lot of different characters, and while I still feel like we got a good focus on Pablo and Agent Pena, we got to spend some more time with Judy Moncada, the Castaños, the Cali Cartel. I really like, I don't know his name, but he's like the handsome guy with like the beard who's like
Pacha?
the part. Pacho, I think he's like the partner to the two the other guys that run the Cali Cartel. They're like brothers or something, and then he came up through the ranks and partnered with them.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but I really like his character. I feel like I could watch him like become like a
I remember in season 1, him and Pablo had a really good scene together.
Yeah, I really like that guy's like screen presence. He's got charisma. I want to see more of him in season 3.
Yeah. See, I found myself in this season like a couple of times. Like, it's so confusing to me watching something like this because they did something I didn't like when they killed off Colonel Carrillo. I was like, oh, I wanted to see more of him. Then I thought to myself, wait, this is history. They don't choose when they die.
Yeah.
That's why this show confused me.
I did really like that scene though. Like, I would have liked to have seen more of Agent Colonel Carrillo, but that scene was like something like, that's what I want Kingpin to be like when he returns to Daredevil.
I think it's what he will be.
Like, just so much of what Pablo was doing, and like his moments where it was like just what he would walk into a room and like all like the life and like sound would like drain out, and he'd just be like staring at people. I was like, that's why I want Kingpin to feel like every time he walks into a room in the Marvel universe. He should have that kind of a presence where people are like, Kingpin ain't shit. Oh fuck. I didn't mean that, sir. And then it's just like,
Yeah, it's just whenever
we're
there's
talking
a character
shit about me.
whenever there's a character like that and they're just so calm, yet they're just silent and they're calm. And
but this is quiet rage.
It's terrifying. It's quiet rage because just you don't know what they're gonna do. Then they just fucking kill you.
What did you think of the character of Limon, the taxi driver guy with the mullet? He was a new guy this season.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing that they brought in another kind of one of his main sicarios late like this.
Yeah, honestly, did you feel like they were setting him up to be the one who killed Pablo? Like,
I felt like a little bit like he was going to betray Pablo. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was a lot of times throughout the season where I think that's why that twist of like it was actually doing something for Pablo worked so well for me, because I just had this feeling watching so much of it where I'm like, this guy is going to be the one who kills Pablo, I think. Because like they just introduced this character and he's like, you're going to be working closely with Pablo Escobar. And it's like, he's just like a regular dude. Is he going to kill him? But no, it's kind of interesting watching him go from just like this regular dude who drives a taxi for prostitutes to being one of the last people standing with
his
Pablo
last
Escobar.
Sicario.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting to watch. I really enjoyed the other guy, the one who like recruited him, because he kind of looks like my brother. Yeah,
he does. Now that I think about it, Lakika kind of does look like
him. Every time I saw him, I'm like, that's what my brother would be like as a Colombian Sicario. Huh. Fascinating.
There you go.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that might have been why I warmed up to him a bit. It was like, hey Jenga, what are you doing in Colombia? Yeah.
What did you think of the supporting character that came in with him, Maritza?
Yeah, she was kind of like a lot of the other female characters in this show. Like, I feel like this show's female characters could be served a little better. Like, I like Pablo's wife, Tata, who's fictionalized
she got-
version.
She got
of the
better
real-
in this season.
Yeah, like
She
I feel
didn't-
like she was becoming more like a kind of Vanessa Fisk kind of character. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
she.
if that's how I like, maybe slightly more ruthless, but that's kind of like that relationship they had is what I want.
Yeah, that she
Vanessa
had
and Wilson
power over him.
Mm,
That's what I like the thought of.
yeah,
Like, there's this giant, strong, like, evil man, then the
Mm.
wife who has this little bit of power over him.
I did really like that, and yeah, I liked how like this season he was kind of more faithful to her. That was kind of nice. It was kind of really sweet just to watch their kind of their
You really got
romance blossom in a way.
you really got the feeling that Pablo loved his wife and his children.
Oh yeah, like
And
they
it's like,
really
'cause
emphasized that.
yeah, and if you think about like someone like him, like a kingpin, a literal fucking terrorist,
Mm.
you don't think of them as having such strong relationships with the people they love, you know?
Mm. And it made me think of this documentary. I watched it like kind of straight after that I've only watched half of because it's so intense. The Act of Killing, which is like it really kind of emphasizes this fact that you think of like people like Pablo Escobar in like historical terms, like, oh yeah, that was the biggest, like, seventh richest man in the world, is crazy narco terrorist, he was a monster, but they're still people. And I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough when you talk about history's monsters like Pol Pot or Hitler or stuff. These are still people, and I think it's more fascinating and interesting to think of them as people instead of just like, oh, they were monsters, they were terrible people. It's like, no, they had things they cared about. They weren't just all about selling cocaine or killing Jews or whatever in Hitler's case. Like, these were people who had feelings, they had thoughts, they had aspirations.
Yeah, and it's like
They just happened to commit
you think
horrible,
of
horrible.
Think of this:
acts.
when Hitler was a child, I'm sure when he was a child, he wasn't thinking about killing like 6 million
he
Jews.
wanted to be a painter. That's like
Yeah,
he
And,
went
like,
to the school,
same
the
with
Vienna
Pablo-
School of the Arts twice and got rejected.
yeah, and same with Pablo Escobar. I'm sure he didn't grow up thinking I'm going to be a drug lord. I'm going to kill thousands of people. He didn't
No.
grow up thinking that. That's what
He
you got to
wanted
keep in
to,
mind when
you know,
thinking
he wanted to
about these
rise
people.
out of the slums. He wanted to make something of himself, and that's just happened to be the way he did it. Now, that's not excusing anything they did. The acts they did, they committed, are still terrible. That's
Oh,
not what we're
definitely.
talking about. We're not saying, oh, they're just people, leave them alone. We're saying, like, no, it's the
People
world is
have
more
depth.
complicated than just evil acts, and like, there's monsters don't exist.
Yeah, there's
people
bad
do.
people who do good things and good people who do bad things. I don't think you can pick any specific person. You cannot say this person is 100% good or this person is 100% evil.
No,
You know?
everyone has some redeeming, at least one redeeming quality.
Yeah, and everyone has like one downfall at least, you know?
Mm.
It goes
Yeah,
both
people-
ways,
The world is shades of grey, not black and white.
but not 50 Shades of Grey.
No, it's a bit more than that. It's like 86.
80, yeah, it's definitive number. There is 86 Shades of Grey in the world.
Yes. I am a colorologist, a shadeologist, and there are 86 shades of grey. Don't look it up.
Shadeologist. Someone throws shade all the time.
Yeah, that's what I do. I throw 86 different varieties of shade on people a day.
Okay, we're getting off topic, and this bit is going nowhere.
Little bit. But I feel like this show, I really enjoy crime fiction shows like this. Like anything that kind of reminds me of Martin Scorsese stuff, or it's like really getting into details and the economics of how, like, well, this is how they transported the drugs, and this is how they got in the money. Like all these little things you don't think about. Like they talked about a lot in season 1, but especially here in season 2, where like, all of the money, like he was shipping over the cocaine to Miami, but then like all the money that he was making from that, it was just as hard getting the money back into Colombia.
It was
back
like
to him.
even harder because he's like,
Mm.
here's a kilo of cocaine, and here's the money that fetched, and the money was like took up 3 times as much space as the cocaine did.
Yeah, so you're like, just fuck, how do I get that back to me? Like that's the problem with like having a cash based
Yeah.
business
And,
on
and
a large
yeah.
like global economic scale.
like it's easier these days because
Mm.
there's banks and there's banks who could do crooked things like
He was doing this all like analog. There was no
Yeah,
computers. Like he was relying on like accountants and like people actually like counting the money and like weighing things in person, in hand. There was none of this fucking oh yeah, we'll just put it on an Uber and use some Bitcoin to pay for it, and boom. It's like,
oh, Bitcoin is so big on the drug trade right now. Like, this is going to show the depravities of the internet. Have you ever been to the deep web at all? Do you have a browser for it?
Like, once you mentioned that one thing about like how you accidentally came across some horrible shit, I was like, you know what? That's not for me. I don't need to accidentally come across that.
Yeah, well, here's one thing I came across once. Should I be saying this? Fuck it. No one listens.
Fuck it. No one listens to this.
Because
you didn't purchase anything illegal.
No,
so
no.
No. So yeah, let's
basically to get on the. For those who don't know, to get on the deep web, you have to have a specific browser. You can't do it in like Google Chrome or Internet Explorer.
No.
You can't do anything in Internet Explorer. God.
You can. You know what you can do in Internet Explorer? You can download Google Chrome.
You can download Google Chrome. Yeah. So basically, you get this thing, and basically the websites. The idea is they don't really have actual web addresses. And they're called .onion addresses, and it's just kind of like a code for it, I guess.
Okay.
And also, what the browser does, it scrambles your IP, basically. There's a whole network of computers, and it goes through, like, at least 6 computers in 6 different locations around the world. So it would take one of the world's best hackers, like better than the government has, to find out who you are. For starters. So that's why I can look at this stuff and not get caught. So one time I actually stumbled upon the recipe for crystal meth.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm never going to do it because crystal meth, I've seen Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's like,
no. And there's a good chance that this person is bullshitting and is just going to explode and kill me. And so, but a big thing on the deep web is website like eBay for drugs. The biggest one that people probably maybe have heard of is Silk Road. You ever heard of it?
I've heard of that. Didn't it get shut down? Or
It's gotten shut down and brought back a million times, like a pirate bay. It's never going away. And so, you use Bitcoins, where I'm literally not going to try and explain what Bitcoins are.
It's an internet cryptocurrency. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. And so you literally buy it, and they fucking send you your drugs in the mail.
That's crazy.
I'm just like, don't they have like scanning?
Yeah, doesn't Australia Post check of like, isn't like a thing that's like a beep? That's not cocaine. Send that through. Beep. That's not cocaine. Send it through. Beep. Oh,
and it's not just cocaine.
A little bit.
You can get any drug like cocaine, heroin, ice, acid.
I was just trying to stay on
DMT. Like, you can get anything there. So that's where the drug trade is going. So, but you didn't hear it from me.
No. Hey, we didn't tell you how to specifically get to it. You didn't say the website they need to get, did you?
Silk Road, but even knowing the name Silk Road, to traverse the deep net, you need directories, you need deep web browsers, you need so many different things
which we're not gonna discuss here. But anyway, yeah, like the internet is a vast and deep and scary place, and you can do more on it than you realize.
Yeah,
and the point is like that. That's all easy now. These people didn't have any of that, and they somehow still made Pablo the 7th richest man in the world.
Yeah, the scene where he burned money.
Yeah, that's you got to have crazy amounts of money to be burning like tens of thousands of dollars.
Apparently, it was $2 million. It was in his Wikipedia article that apparently it was $2 million he burnt just to light a fire.
That's crazy. That's
fuck you money.
And I think it was also kind of interesting because last season they were talking a lot about he would just bury money in places. It was like, I don't have anywhere to put it, I need somewhere to hide it. He'd just be putting money in barrels and hiding it around everywhere. And it was interesting to kind of revisit that this season where like he dug up a barrel and the money had like molded. And that's like, oh yeah.
Because it was in a suitcase, so of course moisture was going to seep through a suitcase. You'd have to put it in like steel to have the moisture,
and then
not
plastic wrap it, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and
vacuum pack seal.
That wouldn't happen in Australia because our money is plastic.
That's true. Our money wouldn't mold. We'd be able to spend that shit straight away.
Yeah, people make fun of our money because it's funny colors. But I'm like, fuck you. Our money is plastic.
Our money is indestructible. It's fine.
It can go through a washing machine and come out fine.
Perfectly fine. You can run it over. You can drop it in water. You can.
The only thing it doesn't survive is ripping. It can still rip.
Can it? I feel like it's harder to rip than paper.
Oh, it's harder to rip than paper, but it can rip. Have you never gotten a ripped bill?
I've gotten once. Yeah. They tend to go out of
I forget
circulation
you don't
quickly,
have a
so you don't
job.
really see them a lot.
I forget you don't have a job.
I've had people pay me to do things that I won't speak about.
Prostitute, Aiden.
Look, we all got to make a buck, okay?
Make a buck for a fuck. Oh!
Hey,
I rhyme. I'm a poet, and you didn't know it. I did it again.
Speaking of which, I'm still waiting for someone to pay me. I'm just sitting here checking my bank account like a crazy person. Like, change, you bastard.
87 Shades of Grey.
87 Shades of Grey. What else can we talk about this season? There was a few characters I feel like who got short-shifted. Like I was saying, like the women got kind of short-shifted. Besides maybe like Pablo's wife, like
I would have loved to see more of Maritza because she is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. just putting it out there.
All right, that's fine. You know,
she may be my wife now. She may not know it.
Okay.
And I may have learnt the price of custom-made body pillows.
Okay. All right. We need to get Brett a girlfriend. That's what we know now. It's been a while. Too long. Need to get you back out there. No, like I feel like, especially Pablo's mother, I was hating a lot. And I always feel bad when I hate on female characters in shows because I don't want to go down that road where like you have people who are like really hating on Skylar in Breaking Bad or what was the name of the mum in The Walking Dead?
Laurie. I kind of hated Laurie.
Yeah, like I feel bad
she
whenever
was annoying. But
I get on those trains.
It's not the fact that they're women. And half the time it's not even the actors.
No.
It's the writing. And who writes
like it's not
them?
even that. It's just, like
Probably
people
men.
don't like once you're like connected to a character and like all the fun things rely on them doing this like illegal terrible thing. Bringing someone in who has to say like things that are logical and being like, hey, we shouldn't be, especially in the case of Skylar, I think is one that I always felt really bad about people hating on her character was like, she is saying sane things. She saying like, don't be a drug dealer. You've ruined this family. How could you do this to us? Like
she finds out her husband is a drug lord. She leaves him. That's an appropriate human response.
Exactly. Fucking exactly. And it's just like, it's just unfortunate when there's all those people like, oh fuck Skylar, she's a killjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's towards like the end of season 5 where Walt Jr. finds out she's like, I hate you, and you're like, no, fuck you, Walt Jr. But then you think about it like, no, he's right.
He's right. It's like, yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable response to finding out your dad is a drug lord. It's like,
see that's the thing about why Breaking Bad is such a brilliant series because Walt is a horrible person.
Yeah.
He did horrible, horrible things.
The mission statement of that show was to turn a Mr. Rogers into Scarface, and they did it beautifully.
Yeah, and it's just I can't even think of the proper words. It makes you care and somehow like this person did horrible things, and it makes you question morality, really.
Yeah, it's because it touches on like very common things, like we all want kind of some level of power, we all want some level of wealth, we all want to have that kind of freedom to do what we want to do, and just like there is that part I feel like in everyone, even people like, oh no, I wouldn't ever break the law. It's like there's a little bit of part of you, even if it's just like I'd like to jaywalk every now and then. That's like you'd like to fuck up and just see what would happen. And I feel like that's what's so fascinating about television like this, like Breaking Bad and like Narcos, where like it's just that other side of like, what could I have done if I'd chosen this different path or done this different thing? It's like, well, you could have had all this, but you know it eventually comes crashing down. So is it worth it? You gotta weigh up the pros and cons.
Yeah.
A few short, like 2 years of being the 7th richest man in the world, or like a long
See,
usually long life of like just being average.
these kind of shows, it really just shows people who don't know how to quit while they're ahead.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of like you can see that point where like you should have stopped there. You should have let shit slide. You should have said, "Hey, I've got enough money. I'm the 7th richest man in the world. Good enough."
Yeah, and it's like it's human greed.
Yeah, it's always that like, wow, I had nothing and I got to here.
Let's
I could
keep
get
going.
more. Yeah, it's like, no, you've hit a peak. Like no one ever really knows when their peak is. It's not until they're on like the downturn that they're like, oh, that was my peak. Shit, should have stayed there.
I hit my peak when I was about 17.
Oh, I've had like a few moments like that, especially after like really like amazing concerts where I've seen like an amazing band and I've gone like, my life is downhill from here. Fuck.
Yeah. Every time I do something good, I'm like, yep, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, it's
all downhill.
That time, NoFX, what's the word I'm looking? Dedicated the song "Kill All the White Man" to me on my 21st birthday. I was like, it's all downhill from here. This is
yeah. I remember watching a YouTube video. I don't remember who it was,
Mm.
but he was saying like, when I was a kid, I went to space camp, and that was the highlight of my life. And if I knew at the time that nothing was ever going to be this good, I would have appreciated it a lot more.
Yeah, it's.
I wish we had space camp. God damn.
I know we don't have any.
Apparently, they got to do that thing where they went in the plane, and you know how it just turns its engines off, and you get to experience weightlessness.
Oh, I would like. There's a part of me that really wants to do that, but there's another part. I'm like, I'd throw up everywhere. I'd throw up on myself.
Yeah.
I'd throw up on everyone in the plane.
Nah. And all he said, like, what he did was the absolute highlight of his life. He did that, and he had a packet of Skittles in his pocket, and he just let a Skittle go, and he just floated through the air and just ate it. That was the best moment of his life.
Yeah, no, everything's downhill from there.
Yeah, everything's downhill.
Like the closest I've gotten to weightlessness was one of those giant swings where there's just like that split second where you're like, oh fuck, I'm falling, and then like the swing kicks in, but like that's like that split second of like, oh.
Would you ever do like? Oh, you finished. Sorry.
Oh yeah, there was that other time. You know those things where it's like a giant fan on the ground and it's like skydiving, but like without getting in a plane, and they just like shoot a bunch of air at you. I've done that once. That was pretty cool.
Would you ever do like actual skydiving or bungee jumping?
Like I don't think I'd do. I feel like I'd do skydiving before I do bungee jumping.
Really?
Yeah, there's something about like that snapback of like the bungee cord that like
apparently
really fucking terrifies me.
My sister went bungee jumping.
Oh yeah.
She has a video of it. She screamed.
Well,
Because apparently what
too.
they did was
they
were
about
like
that at all.
yeah, no.
Mm.
Apparently what they do is like, okay, we're going to count down 3, 2, 1. Then on 1 we're going to push you,
Mm.
but they push you on 2.
Yeah. They're always fucking with you, or they're like, oh wait, and then they'll push you.
No, because they
People
say,
who
like,
run bungee jumping are dicks. They're complete dicks. Like they're safe. Like I'm not gonna talk about their safety protocols, but they'll always be fucking with people.
they
like,
have fun with it.
No,
but apparently the reason they push them on 2
Mm.
is because if they get down to 1, so many people like they'll turn around and be like, no, and they'll end up being pushed while backwards, which is a lot more dangerous or something like that. So pushing by 2, people aren't at the point where they're like, no, stop yet.
Yeah,
That's why they do it.
that's fair, but
So it
it's
is
still
kind
like,
of a little
ooh.
bit of a safety thing, or just a thing that people don't stop at 1.
Yeah, or they'll drag someone with them. Like no, stop. They'll grab and then push and pull and like, oh no, and then that's how people die. So that's fair. I get it, but it's still kind of like, you dick.
Yeah, you dick.
So what do we talk about? Narcos season 2.
We get so off topic today.
We
We talk
do.
about deep web. We talk about freaking bungee jumping.
You know, it's all about frills, and this show delivered a lot of frills. I feel like there were a lot of cool, kind of chase and like finding kind of sequences in the show. Like, especially the one I think that was the craziest was when Pablo's mother went out to go shopping, and they were like, "Why the fuck would you do that? You could have been followed." And she's like, "No, it was
She
fine."
went to church, and one of the Los Pepes guys happened to be at the same church.
Yeah, it's like, that was like, a lot of moments like that for her, where she was just be like, "No, I'm going to do this," and "No, it's fine." And
She went
I
to
feel like
church or
she
something.
wasn't worried enough throughout this season, and it really annoyed me. It's like, you don't understand the gravity of what's going on, and that really annoys me. And so,
And I was like, kind of like, does she understand that her son has killed thousands of people?
nah, I think she was, what's that confirmation bias? Like she worked itself into in her mind that like, no, my son's a good person. He's done all these good things. That's what I'm going to focus on. That's all I'm going to think about. And then there are these terrible people out here trying to kill him. They're the bad people. My son's fine. Like, that's definitely what was going on in her brain.
Yeah, denial.
Lots of denial. Like, I feel like the mind is a powerful thing, and you can kind of just make yourself believe whatever your point of view is. You just look for the little facts and stuff that support that, and you'll be like, right, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, says a lot about this election cycle.
That's. Whew. How about that plebiscite? Hey,
Yeah, is that happening or not? Did Labor block it?
look, it's gone through one of the houses, and it's not. It seems like Labor isn't going to support the plebiscite. Like,
Well, because of how evenly divided our government is. If Bill Shorten says no, it doesn't happen.
yeah, that's kind of like what's going to happen at the moment. Especially, I think it's what's Turner Tugwood before. He was kind of like, I guess maybe if there's no other option, we'll support the plebiscite. It seems that if because of this $7.5 million funding for the SN No campaigns, they're thinking like, no, we can't in good conscience like support something that's gonna like send people to their deaths. Really, like it's gonna be emotionally traumatic for a bunch of young and vulnerable LGBTI plus Q whatever youth, and it's irresponsible.
Yeah, it's giving Gary, the homophobe in Western Australia, the right to decide if two gay men in Sydney can get married. You know,
Yeah, it's fucked. It should just be a free vote in Parliament. Anyway, we're getting too political here.
Yeah. Well, is there anything much left to talk about?
Not a
Like,
lot. Did you have like a favorite scene or episode?
oh wait, one thing I got to say.
Mm.
You remember the start of episode 9 where there was a bomb in Judy Moncado's car? That jump scared me more than any horror movie I've seen all year did.
No, that's fair.
I had my headphones on. I was watching on the TV. I had it on my TV, but it was late at night, so I had my headphones on, so I didn't wake up my housemates or whatever. So it's kind of laying there, it's kind of relaxing, and there was no music. They were just kind of walking and talking, and boom! I was like, fuck! Oh, it scared the shit out of me.
I think my favorite moment of acting was probably the second last episode where Pablo is on the farm with his estranged father. That was
In that scene with the dead pig.
That was really interesting. I really like Wagner Mora, or however you pronounce his name, really like brought his fucking A game to that episode. That was I actually really enjoyed, like, I felt bad. Like, it was weird to like feeling bad about like this terrorist in like these last moments of his life, but like especially in the last episode where he's like just walking around and he wants to buy some ice cream, and like he's just
So I think that might have been dramatized. That thing. I don't think that would have happened in real life.
I feel like parts of it would have happened. Like maybe like there was parts that are dramatized, obviously, like him like having that last moment on the park bench with his cousin, like reminiscing on what he should do. That's obviously added in for drama. But like
I feel like there was no way he was going to meet his cousin there like that. And I feel like there's no way he took his sunglasses and hat off and didn't get recognized right away, because they had his poster everywhere. He was
I don't know, the beard kind of like did make him look a bit like a different person.
Yeah.
I feel like, look, if Clark Kent can take off his glasses and be a different person.
Aiden, are you comparing real life to Superman?
Look, there's actually been like studies and stuff done where like people like who usually wear glasses and they take them off, people won't recognize them at first. So like if you change like just one like distinctive feature and give people something to focus on, it does actually like it works more than you think it would. Like you sit and like there and you go like, how can people not tell this is the same person? like if you're just out and about in the street, it actually does like people will confuse you for someone else.
Yeah.
Especially
How
if
does
you're not
Lois
like
Lane
looking
not tell?
if you're not looking for that person constantly, like most people are just kind of like going about their day to day, and like if they're not looking, they're looking for a specific person. Like, where's the mustache? Like, that dude's got a beard. That's not him. So like, it was only the people who were like specifically looking for him, like the guy, the son of the new leader of search block, who was like, okay, that's Pablo, but that's because he was specifically looking for him. The other like soldiers, especially they started off that kind of thing in the first episode where those soldiers in the forest were like they saw him and they're like, oh, fuck, it's Pablo Escobar. We can't move. We don't want to do anything about this. He's just too terrifying. So like, I could feel like they wouldn't be looking, really. Like they've also talked about those things.
I still feel like that bit might have been dramatized because I don't see him.
I'm not saying that specifically happened, but I feel like he probably did like walk outside at some point. He did probably get like cooped up and like walked out and like went to like a shop and just sat somewhere and was like, hey, last moments of my life, hey. And then like had like a moment to think or whatever. I'm not saying those specific events happened. I'm saying it's probably likely that something similar happened. Like, obviously, his dead cousin didn't come and sit with him on a bench. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mm.
what were we saying? Man, we're finishing up. Final thoughts. What was your favorite action scene?
Ooh. I think, yeah, maybe that when Pablo's mother came back and then Los Pepes found them and they were having that shootout. That was probably my favorite.
I think my favorite action scene was the one where Carrillo died.
Yeah, no, that was pretty
tense.
intense.
It was out of nowhere, really.
Mm.
They had a good build up to it, and just the power in that scene where Pablo comes up and kills him.
Mm. I honestly thought he was gonna piss on his face, like it's like, hey, you pissed on my mural, I'm gonna piss on your face and then shoot you. But hey, that's
Whatever,
just how
yeah.
I would have done things if I was Pablo Escobar.
You think about this a lot, don't you?
No, just while I'm watching the show, like I would have done this. Ha 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 ha. But in real life, I'm like, I wouldn't be a drug dealer. So
anyway, final thoughts. What's your
final
little
thoughts,
summary?
Really kind of fascinated to see what they do with season 3. See if they can like find members of like the Cali cartel and maybe Judy Moncada, to like build up to like that level. Like, because really, you see those other guys and like they're just kind of drug dealers. In my mind, I don't see them as like people as much as I see Pablo, but that's just because we spent more time with Pablo. We know him not just as a drug dealer, but as a family man, as someone who has humor and aspirations outside of just drug dealing. So I would like to see more of their human side, to just kind of find them more interesting. And I'm fascinated to see like what the Cali cartel did after the Medellin cartel pretty much was dissolved. Like, how much bigger did they get? What crazy shit were they doing? I think it's more fascinating just reading a Wikipedia article. Like, I read a little bit and was like, oh, okay. I'd like to see that in a little bit more detail. So, I'd say I'd give this season an 8 out of 10. It was some good television, and it just makes me kind of sad that like the best stuff is coming from like just this internet company, and like.
See, it doesn't make me sad. It makes me excited. Because as long as we're getting good stuff, I don't give a shit where it's coming from,
That's true. Like, it is. I do like the idea that that Netflix is this global thing where like, especially for the original shows, it's just released. That's the main reason I'm sticking with Netflix, is that like their original shows are so good.
Now they've cracked down on VPNs. We have so much less to watch than we did.
It's true. There's so much. Like, the rest of the stuff library is like, it's okay. Like, every now and then I'll find something like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is fascinating. But
yeah, sometimes I'll try and take a look and see if there's something worth watching, but a lot of the times there isn't.
I'm mainly keeping it around for all the original stuff. Like, now that Narcos is done, I'm like, all right, Luke Cage will be the next thing that I watch on Netflix, probably.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks away.
Oh, yeah, it's not that far away. God damn. I'm looking forward to that.
An American Horror Story
So excited.
American Horror Story, if I can speak right, it starts tonight.
Ooh.
Oh, well, tonight in America.
Okay.
Tomorrow night in America? Wednesday the 14th in America.
Oh, well, then tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Today is
like I said,
Tuesday. It was a new episode of Atlanta. Oh, do you want to do recommendations real quick?
Yeah, let's do some
All right,
recommendations.
what was your review also of Narcos?
Oh, yeah, it had some great action pieces. It had some great character moments. It really built up Pablo's character well. Tata was better as well this season, but there was still, other women in it were kind of weak. There wasn't much women in the show, to be honest.
Yeah.
Murphy's wife left, which I didn't really like. I would have liked to seen her stick around a bit, but
Yeah,
I
would've
guess
liked
it's
more
one
of
of those things where it's history that happened. Well, so that's probably the one thing that kind of lets me down about this show. Some things they can't change because it happened.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe a writer could have made better decisions than the actual historic events, but it's based on historic events, so it's kind of hard to change it too much. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with what I was thinking and give it a 7.5.
Okay.
So
Okay. Good.
really
good.
enjoyable. It's dense. It's heavy. You can't really binge watch it, as we've said before, but definitely worth.
You got to take some breaks,
checking
at
out.
least like every 2 episodes. You got to take all right, I got to take a day, and then I'll get back to this.
Yeah, I feel like towards the end it got a little bit lighter. Like I powered through the last 3 episodes in one sitting.
Yeah, I
But
did
those
the
were the
same.
only 3 episodes I've ever been able to watch through at once. Because it was that point where it was like it calmed down a lot. Pablo was kind of just hiding.
All right, so recommendations before we end up this episode. What have you been watching, reading, whatever?
Oh, shit. I was going to say something where I forgot. Shit. You start while I try to remember what I was
Okay, I've been watching the new FX show from Donald Glover, Atlanta. I've watched the
I've heard good things.
I just watched the 3rd episode of that today. It's really good. Like especially today's episode, like where he's just kind of really broke, and it's just kind of making a lot of jokes about that, but not in a, oh, I'm so broke, blah 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 way, but in this, it's kind of this new breed of comedy where like the kind of Louis, Master of None kind of style, where it's just as equally a drama as it is a comedy, and it's kind of like it's really reflective and like the city, and
so
it's
really, it's real comedy.
I just find it really refreshing. Like it's not exactly like Master of None and Louis. Like it has its own flavor and vibe enough that I'm like, okay, this is its own show. But it's of that new kind of breed where like
I'd say
these are
even
the kind of comedies that I want to be watching.
I'd say even Master of None and Louis, like they're of the same vein of comedy, but they're very different shows.
Yeah, they're very different perspectives, and I feel like because Louis, it's very much about like this. He's a father, and it's this older kind of comedian's perspective, where Master of None is more about this kind of. He's a minority, and it's coming from that perspective of an Indian being in America and not having more of a connection to American life, and that being that second generation immigrant kind of thing, and also being
where
an
you kind
actor.
of like
And
you kind of feel like you don't know where you belong at that stage because you're not really American, but then you're not really your old ethnicity at the same time. So you just kind of float in that ethereal nothingness, which I know is something you feel sometimes.
Oh yeah, and being young and being kind of aimless and just trying to make your way in the world. Like it's we've moved on from this era. It was all like sitcoms and like the situation comedy. Yuck 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 yeah. Like I feel like ever since How I Met Your Mother, like that show finished, like I feel like the sitcom is dead. Like they're still out there. Like I feel like Joel McHale and Stephen Fry are in some new thing that's coming in. Not sure if it started yet, but they're still out there. I know that.
Yeah.
But I feel
they're
like
always
they're
going
dead.
to
They're not this like cultural like thinking talk piece thing. They're nothing things.
Well, I feel like people these days, they think a bit more and they feel a lot more, especially
We
with
expect more from our television, especially now that like
the millennial internet generation, with the amount of people like joking all the time about how they want to kill themselves and how my life is a joke, all that stuff. So they want real humor they can relate to, I guess.
I think it's also come from like where movies have moved into this like it's all like large scale blockbusters and everything's a tent pole and it's all trying to tell these like massive stories or like their giant kids animated films, the realm of like adult drama and like the mid-tier film is kind of moved to television, and that's where like these really where used to be they'd go to films and do like, oh, we do like a 20 million film and it's about this guy and he's broke and it's just this little film about living in Atlanta. That is now what a television show is. And that's so it's evolved into like this different kind of thing, and like that's why I feel TV is still gonna be around for a while. Like it'll evolve and it'll be more about like these streaming services, but that idea of like mid-tier adult drama is now where television really strives.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So away from the realness of something like Atlanta and you know those kind of comedies, I've, as I mentioned, I think last time or the time before, I've been playing the Marvel Ultimate Alliance video games.
Oh yeah.
I finished the first one. I moved on to the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy improvement! Oh my god, I did not expect it to be that different.
Yeah, I played through the second one again recently. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's better than the first because
what's the first one about?
It's about the Masters of Evil and Doctor Doom stealing Odin's power.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you go all over the place, whatever.
Mm.
See, in two, each character, they have 4 powers, one assigned to each, square, triangle, circle, and X.
Mm.
But in the first one, they all have more powers, and you got to cycle through them, and like you don't really know what's what. It's a bit confusing.
Mm.
The leveling system's better in the second one.
Yeah.
And like before I went to the second one, I had no idea what it was about because I'd played 1 when I was a kid, but not 2.
Yeah.
So I saw the start menu. I'm like, is this Civil War?
Yeah, boy.
Then about 2 missions in, they're talking about the Registration Act. I'm like, it is Civil War. That's like how I reacted when I realized.
It's not exactly Civil War. Like they do some different things, kind of like how the movie is different to the comic. But like for the most part, like I was playing it like, yep, the first mission is Secret War. I remember reading that. Civil War, like all these events, I remembered all these characters and stuff. I remember it's different because they got to change it up for a video game. But
yeah,
yes, this.
Yeah, no, and I get what you're saying because when you were saying it, you said like it's a lot more enjoyable replaying it now, having more knowledge about these events and getting these references to what's going on in the universe. And I feel the same way playing it now.
Especially just being more aware of like who all these like mid-tier, low-level characters are. I'm like, I know who that person is now. Like, and I actually care. But before I was just like, hey, who the fuck is Songbird? Who the fuck is Luke Cage? I don't give a fuck about any of these people. But now
I know
this person and that person. Ha ha ha.
I know about half of these mid-tier characters. So
I was
when you
way
played
more
it,
into playing as Miss Marvel this time than I was before. Where now I'm like, oh, yes, Carol Danvers. Oh.
I've been playing Miss Marvel. I found right now my team is Jean Grey, Miss Marvel, Iceman, and Iron Fist.
Nice.
And like Jean Grey's fusion attack with anyone is fucking amazing.
Yeah, she is pretty much a powerhouse. And Iron Fist is a good character to have on your team because he has a lot of healing ability. So he's a good like.
Yeah, that's why I have him in. And Iceman has that really good one where it just the big ice shard comes from the ground. I like that attack.
Yeah, him and Storm are pretty OP in that game.
Yeah. Question: Who did you go with when you played? Did you go Team Iron Man or Team Cap?
I went Team Cap.
Same here, but not because I like Cap more, just because I am against registration of superheroes.
Work for the government. No! Fuck the police!
Fuck the police coming straight from the Hydra base.
Yeah. And
that's where they camped.
It was just a lot of that and like looking at like Team Iron Man. It's like, oh, you get to be Mr. Fantastic. Ew, no. I want to throw a shield at people. I'm doing that
just
instead.
looking at the characters that got locked if you chose each option, I'm like, I care more about playing the characters that you keep being on Team
Cap. Yeah.
Cap, yeah.
Cap's better.
I've also been I've been getting a bit retro and nostalgic this week. Something reminded me of this game I played when I was a kid. Okay, I'm gonna go into the whole nostalgic little story.
All right, yeah.
My family never that rich growing up.
No,
except like on my auntie's side, they very rich.
How's that
they
like?
go to bars.
I feel like all my friends are like people who like, oh yeah, we weren't on the rich side of the family. There was some other distant cousin, uncle, twice removed who got this massive fortune in a castle, and we were the poor people. And it's like, wow, that seems to be everyone's
that's
story.
me. That's me. But see, that's everyone else's story. But you are the rich side of your family, Aiden.
Not on my mum's side. Like, maybe on like my dad's side, just. But like, yeah, on my mum's side, like, if you look back through like history, there's some other guys like they had way more money, and they went off and they owned farms somewhere and all. So.
Like you make pretty decent money. Like it's not richy rich, but it's you guys have decent money.
Less than you'd think.
But, yeah. Anyway. So what my auntie would do when she went to Bali, because this was like I wouldn't say pre-downloading age, but you know. So she'd get, for starters, we get DVDs for like 50 cents, like pirate rips.
Yeah.
And she'd get me games for my Game Boy Advance. And what it was one cartridge. And you put that cartridge in your Game Boy Advance, and it'd go to this menu screen where it had a list of like 50 games, all on that cartridge.
Okay. Yeah.
And like, so I think about 5 of them would be actual Game Boy Advance games. Then a lot of them would be stuff like Pac-Man, Tetris, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, she'd just buy a bunch of them blindly and just give them to me. just so you know,
this.
instead...
okay.
You know, it was better because it was something cheap. She got them for like $1. And she gets $1 and I get all those games, and Mum doesn't have to go out and spend her little money on buying me games.
Fair enough.
And on one of these games, it was this Japanese title called Onimusha Tactics. I was like,
okay.
Oh, okay. And I played it, and it was like, it's a grid-based game, and it's like turn-based, and it's like it's Japanese, and you got your samurai swords, and you got
samurai swords.
Yeah,
should have led with
magic.
that. Okay.
Yeah, and it's all this magic stuff, and you're fighting demons.
Ooh, demons.
And I loved it. I played it so many times as a kid, but at some point, like, you know, because Game Boy Advance went away. At some point, it just slipped out of my mind, and something reminded me about it. I was like, oh my god, I fucking loved that game as a kid. So I have an emulator on my computer. I decided to get the ROM for that game, and I've been playing it again, and I've been noticing things I didn't notice before.
Oh, yeah?
Like some weird, awkward dialogue.
Yes.
Like when you're first introduced to the protagonist's sister, she goes like, "Oh my god, I'd totally go for you if you weren't my brother." I'm like, "Ew."
That's Japan for you.
Yeah, like, oh, that's a weird thing. It's made by Capcom.
Yeah, that
yeah.
sounds about right.
So, yes, there's some other weird things like that. And there's, well, like, I didn't notice them as a kid. Now playing now, I'm like, no.
Yeah, Japan has. Well, you run into cultural differences whenever you get something that's like from a place that's been like isolated or just so different.
So, yeah, I find myself skipping a lot of the dialogue because I don't really care about the story.
That's fair.
I don't care about the story.
I'll talk about one more thing before we go into wrapping things up. I've been reading Doctor Strange, the latest run of that, just to kind of get my flavors.
I've been thinking about reading some Doctor Strange before.
Actually,
it comes
the
out.
most recent run, Last Days of Magic, and the most recent run of Doctor Strange is actually, I'd highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it, and I feel like down the line, I wouldn't say this is a second Doctor Strange movie, but maybe a third one where you're wrapping things up and you want like a big epic conclusion. This would be great. And like almost all the characters in this book you could use. Like, I don't think there were really any that were like mutants or anything, and there are already a couple of characters that were introduced into the Marvel Universe, and I feel like that would be a really great, like, big, epic kind of send-off to Doctor Strange. And I'm interested to see where the comic goes from there, because like I know they want to still use the character because they're ramping up towards him appearing in a movie, so they don't want to kill him off yet. He's still going to be around, but it's just this big kind of like epic conclusion, third act kind of event for Doctor Strange, and it's super interesting. I'd highly recommend it. And you can jump in pretty much from like issue 1. There's like 11 issues out now, and it's like a 5 or 6 issue arc for the Last Age of Magic bit, and there's 1 or 2 tie-ins, or there's one tie-in with Deadpool, and then there's another one which is like Doctor Strange Last Days of Magic, which is like another tie-in which you can find pretty easily. Yeah, I'd highly recommend that. That was really enjoyable. And I was just reading that going like, man, I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange. This is going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, I'd really like to see that in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking of reading some Doctor Strange before it comes out. There's an animated Doctor Strange movie on Netflix I'm thinking about taking a look at.
I did watch that again. I'd watched it a while ago, and I watched that again. It's good. It's not great. There's some janky animation. Like I watched that and the Ultimate Avengers one again because it showed up on Netflix, and some of it is good, but some of the animation is really janky, and I'm like, this is
real quick though.
not
The
great.
good thing about Australian Netflix, at least, it had a lot of superhero stuff the American one didn't have. It has a lot of the animated movies. Has the whole Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy.
Yeah,
That's
good.
Has most of the Marvel stuff.
Mm.
It was
I've definitely I watched Justice League War again because I'm like, I want to see like not necessarily a good DC thing, but I want to watch something that's like interesting and fun and that was it's still I thought it was still fun. I keep meaning to watch Justice League Throne of Atlantis again because I enjoyed it the first time, but then I heard a lot of like bad reviews from other people. I'm like, maybe it's just because I hadn't watched anything in like a couple of weeks and I was just like frothing at the bit to watch something. Like, oh, hooray. So maybe that's what it is. So I'd like to watch it again and have like fresh eyes and be like, is this any good?
Yeah. Anyway, I think that will be about it from us today.
Yeah. If you want to talk to us about what you thought about Narcos or any of the other things we've discussed in the little recommendations section, you can go to facebook.com/PCMR podcast. Chuck us a comment or a message or whatever. You can also find us on Twitter. We're at PCMR Podcast. We also have our own personal Twitter accounts. I'm at Aiden's Vlog, AIDANSVLOG.
I am at MeMan125. You can send us an email if you'd like. Talk about anything. We don't care. It's PCMRpodcast@gmail.com. We're also... Where are you listening to us? There's probably somewhere else listening to us, unless you've somehow got them both going and somehow aligned the audio so it's like double the loudness level. But you're probably not doing that.
No, you're probably either listening to us on YouTube, where all our videos are up there. That's a real simple way to find us.
Yeah, give us a like, subscribe, please. We need it. We feed from your love.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on iTunes. You can check us out there. We love iTunes. It's where all your podcasts are. It's where we listen to our podcasts.
Oh, yes, that's where I listen. I've also, I feel like there's another place we should maybe consider going, but that's a discussion for after the podcast. That's some technical know-how not worth talking about here. What is worth talking about here is that you can find us on Instagram. We have an Instagram account. I post there occasionally.
Keep forgetting that.
It's just a good place to hang out. I'm trying to build like community whatever's.
Yeah, it's like I'll be scrolling through my Instagram, then one of our posts will come up like, oh yeah, we have that. Aiden's a social media guy. I just fucking edit.
I got to do something. Like I feel like I got to contribute. You know.
Yeah, you contribute well, Aiden. Don't you worry.
You can email us. Did we talk about that?
Yes, we talked about that.
Okay.
But one easiest place if you want to find all our shit, it's just PCMRpodcast.net. It brings you to our very poorly designed website. It's poorly designed, but it has all our episodes and it has all our links to all our social medias and everything you could need. So PCMRpodcast.net, the one catch-all place.
Great place to go. Next week we'll be talking probably about some news. Or something. I don't know. There are actually a few movies coming out soon that might be worth talking about, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see if we can fit them in.
Yeah, because
there's a lot of news
going
on at the moment, and I'd like to talk about as well.
Yeah, we've got Luke
we'll
Cage
talk about that another time.
We'll work it out.
So until then, I have been Aiden.
I have been Brett, and I will continue to be Brett.
I will also probably continue to be Aiden. We'll see how it goes. You know.
Might get an impromptu name change.
What? All right. Catch you later, guys.
Ciao, pals.
Farewell.